All right, hello and welcome everybody to my next off stream project. We are going to be running an old favorite of mine, Dragon Warrior 3 or Dragon Quest 3 as it was called in the Americas when it came out due to copyright or trademark overlap with another game called Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest 3 was originally released for the NES. This is a remake that came out for the Super Nintendo, and what the Super Nintendo version never got here. However, there was a port of the Super Nintendo version to the Game Boy Color that did get here, and that was Dragon Quest 3, I think, called Dragon Quest 3 when it got here, but that was much, much later. This is an English patch of Dragon Quest 3 for the Super Nintendo, and we're going to run through this bit by bit. I'll kind of curate it a little bit because there is a little bit of grinding in this game. But the overall goal is to experience this wonderful game. And I haven't played through it in a long time, so this will be fun. And now I'll shut up while we watch the opening cutscene.
So the basic idea is go get them, kid. So there's one. So they did a huge improvement on the animation of the Ortega fight for the intro for this. But in the NES version, there's a detail that wasn't in this one. In the NES version, Ortega cuts off one of the wings of the creature, and it lands on the rim of the volcano and continues twitching while the fight goes on. So, anyway, we'll start our adventure log. We shall be Korunic as usual. And so here's a trick. Fast is fast, but slow can be even faster because slow goes as fast as you press the button. We'll probably go to 3 for now. Slow lets you wait as long as you want, but if you press the button really fast, it can be faster than number 1. 3, I think 3 is probably readable for me. We'll see. So this is a thing that was added to the Super Nintendo version, is this little intro here. Korunic, heed my voice. It is I, the ruler of everything. Soon, Korunic, you will stand before me as a great hero. Before that happens, I want to find out what kind of person you are. Basically, they added a personality system to the game, which affects your stat gains, basically. Which month were you born in? Well, I guess we'll just use... Yeah, why not? Sure. That's today. Now, Korunic, I'd like to ask some questions now. Don't think too much about the right answer, just give me a quick, honest answer. It'll make it easier for me to learn about your personality. Let us proceed. Are victories only achieved through combat? No. Do you enjoy talking to random townsfolk? Sure. When you spot a cave, are you compelled to explore it? Yes. Would you rather walk farther to a cheaper inn than stay at a more expensive inn that's close by? Economy is everything. Do you lose sleep at night because you get lost in your own thoughts? Sure, why not? Do you think that you dream a lot?
I sleep in a black void. Do you prefer to use magic over weapons? Ooh. We'll say no. Do random strangers bore you when they start talking to you? No. If you repeatedly fail at a task, do you eventually give up? Yes, eventually. Do you tend to have peaceful disagreements with others when the opportunity arises? Yes. Can you forgive a broken promise? Easily? Let's say no. Do you easily become obsessed over something? Kind of in the middle on this one. We'll lean no. Is there someone or something that you'd protect with your own life? This sounds like a heroic question. We'll say yes. I think I understand your personality now. Let's see how you do with this. Now what you get here is you get a little mini skit. Elsewhere, a woman's voice can be heard. Soon the jewel will be mine. It would be useless to our neighboring country. I certainly deserve the jewel. Hello. What should we do? This country is in a state of turmoil. Our neighboring country is going to invade. His Majesty knows about this and is launching a preemptive strike. Soon it will be time to preemptively strike. My people, heed my words. Our neighboring country plans to invade us. We have discovered their plans based on information obtained by your queen. To prevent chaos, I have decided to launch a preemptive strike. Your thoughts, General Hanville. Should the intelligence be false, you'd certainly be questioned. Don't worry. My wife would never lie to me. You think she wouldn't lie to me, right? Certainly. Emperor, your clothes are the finest clothes that I have seen. Go forth, brave soldiers. And off they go. So there's several different ones of these. Some of them have you exploring a cave with signs in it. There's all kinds of different ones. And it's kind of open-ended as to what you do. Will you be aiding in our fight? Sure. I said, what? I said yes. Weird. What in heavens have we done? I haven't seen you before. I suppose at this point anybody will do. Please consider this. If the king carries out an ill-fated plan, do you think he'll be dethroned? Yes. So do you think the king's decree is infallible? No. If you made a mistake, would you still listen to him? No. Act on your own accord? Sure. What? I feel like these questions aren't quite working properly. I feel as though I know what kind of person you are. You are very excitable. When everyone is being serious, you must joke constantly. And you can't help but to play pranks on everybody. But you make people laugh, which keeps you popular. But you are more than just a mere clown. You are sensitive and get hurt easily. You hide this side of yourself with jokes and pranks. You hide the truth with laughter and popularity as well, but that's just you. Don't keep this up. As you grow older, the gags will get old. No one will laugh at your jokes anymore. And you will be stuck wishing that you were young again. Reminiscing is common, but you need to try to live your life in the present. This is your personality. Soon it will be morning, and you will wake from your slumber. I look forward to meeting you again someday. Thank you, Waterfall. So now, this is the part where the NES version starts. Today will be the first time that you've ever been to the castle. I think that you're strong enough for this day. And if not, you will die fighting the Archfiend just as your father did. Enjoy. It's time to get going. Come along with me so I can see you off the castle gates. course, the environment tile set is much more complex for the SNES version, or Super Famicom version, I guess, technically. Head straight north. Don't forget your manners in front of the king, and off you go. Movement is faster, which is nice. This game has a fairly large world, and so moving around faster definitely makes things a little bit easier. Plus, there's like this half-tile thing going on, which wasn't in the first game. Son of the great hero Ortega. You must have heard from your mother by now. Your father Ortega met his death after falling into a volcano. It must have happened in the heat of a big battle. I request that you follow in your father's footsteps. You will certainly fulfill Ortega's last wish by restoring peace to our world. Defeat the Archfiend Baramos. His name remains unknown in the world of men, so you must not speak it. If things remain unchanged, however, the world will be soon destroyed by Baramos. You must prevent this at all costs. You must defeat him. Though I fear you may suffer your father's fate if you do this task alone. Find reliable companions at Ruida's Tavern. So hopefully the censorship that was in the NES version won't be carried over. I assume it won't be since it was a fan translation. I think they called it an eatery in the NES version. 50 gold armor and weapons. So, some goodies. 2 clubs, cypress stick, and some traveler's clothes. And we start with a copper sword and traveler's clothes. Not bad. Let's get our party set up first. Now, this is one of the fun parts of the game. William, Sean, and Betty. The recommended classes to start with are a warrior, or soldier in the NES version, a cleric, or a pilgrim in the NES version, and a mage, or wizard. Basically, the warrior is going to be your frontline tank, the cleric will have healing magic, and the mage will have offensive magic. But they also included a nice, the X button is, or no, yeah, the X button on the Super Nintendo controller would be a nice quick move, or like a quick access button, talk or search basically. Fighters attack nimbly while thieves are superb treasure hunters. Dealers appraise items, jesters just fool around. They can be entertaining, however. Sages are chosen by God. Only those who can withstand their intense training exercises become a sage. And lots of cats in this game for some reason. So you can register people. This was kind of, well, new-ish. I mean, you know, Final Fantasy I came out in the US, and that had character creation, but, like, you were limited to 4 characters, and that was it. Let's just create some randos. A thief. So the thief is a new class. The thief did not exist in the NES version. They will receive aid from the king. 5 status boosting seeds to aid in their growth. Distribute manually or do it for you at random. I mean, certainly I'll choose the stats. Strength. Strength. Stamina. Agility. Stamina. And that's it. And that also determines his, what do you call it? Personality. What would be another good name? Maybe, what do we want to create? Maybe like a female merchant? It's short for Esmeralda. A dealer in this game. In the NES version, in the US, it was the merchant. Merchants have wisdom for no really good reason, because they don't use it at all. A silly character. Sure. We'll hit no for now. So the cool thing about this game is that you can kind of play around with your team. The thief is not going to be quite as good as a tank, but that's fine. So that's a good start for now. In the NES version, it had to save the game every time you changed party members, and so it was very time-consuming. In the NES version, there wasn't a lot of searching the ground or searching barrels. But in this one, they've added that. They've added a medal system, which we'll get into later. And this was back in the day when you had to talk to the townsfolk and get a feel for the world and where to go next. So I will be quiet and we'll just kind of explore the town and talk with the townsfolk, and then we'll start our journey. So here we go. You can sleep at home for free, which is nice. Even the whole team can, whatever. Another addition to the Super Nintendo version is the bag. In the original NES version, you basically just ended up with your 4 people's inventories, and that was all you had. But now we have a little bit more, which is nice. Can he not equip that? Oh, he can't. Interesting. I guess we'll have to get him another Cypress stick. Entering wells is a new thing as well, at least for this game. There's a house down here with people in it. Oh, it's the Meadow King's mansion. Spiny whip, garter belt, bladed ring, strength ring, smart glasses, ninja suit. Justice Abacus, Gale Bandana, Dragon Claw, Vivify Staff, Sacred Bikini, Gold Pass. So they're up to 100 medals for us to grab. Good to see me again. We haven't been here yet. I'll give you prizes in return. I don't know that we can open these. Yeah, it looks like we can't open them. That's okay. They're just for show. So if we find tiny medals, we'll bring them here. That wasn't in the NES version, but it is in this one. It's kind of a staple of Dragon Quest in general at this point. The game has a day-night cycle. Encounters get a little tougher at night. You got crosses on the churches again. Those were removed from the NES version. Let's head back into the castle and get a little intel there. So it's going to turn out that that thief key is going to be kind of our first quest. The thief Bakota, who once wreaked havoc in our town, is now in jail. That door is locked. That door is locked. There's the princess. Plain wooden doors are not locked. So that was kind of an interesting thing here. You can talk to prisoners through the bars. I'm the infamous thief Bakota. How could I let some old man steal my key? Where is he? He lives in the Najimi Tower. If only I still had that thief key. I wouldn't open these doors. You don't have the key to free me? You get lost. Got a door there that we can't open. The red doors are going to be thieves' key doors. That's fine. But that's pretty much all we can do over here. But that's basically how this works. We get the hint to go to the Najimi Tower. And get the Thieves' Key, which is what we're going to need to progress further in the game. Mountain cave leads to the Minajimi Tower. I'm not saying it's true, but everyone else says the same thing. Got a couple barrels here to sniff around in. Alright, small metal. Very nice. Antidote herb. Also nice. Door's locked. You can go up and talk to the king and the chamberlain as well. Yeah, the faster movement is a really nice addition to the game as well. Old school Dragon Quest style save points. If you follow the coastline from the castle, you'll see a cave on the promontory. Okay. That's all? Okay. Yeah, even the Chamberlain guy is like, hey, you're gonna need a key. Equipment used to be its own menu. Fortunately, that is done. We got a luck seed. This is kind of interesting and strange. This is how you get your experience needed. Alright. A good start. Kind of whiled away a little time in the town, but that's kind of how this game goes. You go from place to place, exploring new areas. And, building some strength. We'll head outside. Now, in the original NES version, the game was kind of grindy. And so I'll try to cut out most of that grinding. Here we've already gotten introduced to the two different monsters that are in this little area. 2 experience, 5 gold. So one of the things that's interesting about this game is that a lot of times the types of enemies that you fight are, they change when you go over bridges. And of course, if you're entering new areas, that'll happen too. But basically, in this area right around the castle town, those are the 2 enemies that we're going to fight. We're going to fight the ravens and we're going to fight the slimes. So I'll cut here, grind a little bit. We probably want to make it to level 2 before we head to Reeve, and that'll maybe take a day in-game or so. Not too long though, so anyway, we'll be right back. So worth noting is that you can get into some fairly large groups of enemies. Spells are now animated, so are attacks. They didn't used to be. Enemy attacks are animated as well. All in all, it looks pretty nice. Now, one good thing about thieves is that they do level up pretty quickly. 11 hit points, 3 magic points. Strength, agility, stamina, wisdom, and luck. Now, in this game, agility is, half of your agility gets, well, in the NES version, half of your agility got added to your defense. So, high agility characters are going to end up effectively having high defense, whether they're armored or not. Anyway. Two more levels after this fight. Very nice. HP and MP. Agility, stamina, and wisdom. That's good. So one thing that's interesting about this game is that, at least in the NES version, there was a little bit of randomness on enemy hit point totals. That, like, when they started the fight. Generally speaking, slimes would have, on average, 8 hit points, but like, you could sometimes find them with 6 or 7. The ravens would have 8 or 9. A little bit of noise makes it interesting sometimes. That you'll think you've got an enemy and maybe that one has an extra hit point or 2. Or you think that an enemy is going to take too much to fight off, and you manage to just barely pull it off because of a little extra bonus that it is lacking a hit point. Alright, the hero levels up slowly. There's a reason for that. That way you can trade people around, and your hero will still be not super over-leveled if you play around with your characters a bit. Got some increases of abilities, got a new spell, and now, let's see what this does. In the NES version, yeah, so mom's waiting outside. You're home late, but I'm glad you're safe and sound. Go upstairs and rest. And we kind of automatically... The other thing to check, which we forgot to check before, is we gotta talk to this guy. Where does that confidence come from? So one other thing that we want to do is we want to come back into the town at night and not just immediately go to rest. So I'm going to go out and fight until nightfall again, and then we're going to come back to Eliahan at night and see what's happening. Things will be different. Thieves level fast and gain lots of agility. I'm trying to remember whether it was agility or stamina that increased defense, but if we... His defense is 18. Traveler clothes are worth 7. So that would be, what, 10 plus 7, or 11 plus 7? I think it's half of agility. Clothes are worth 3, right? Hold on. What we can do is we can... Oh, it's worth 8. So his base defense is 10. And his agility is 21. That seems to work out. There's that. Anyway, I'm going to continue fighting until night, and then we're going to check out Eliahan. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome to Eliahan at night. You hear that the music is a little different. The townsfolk have moved around. We can save here so that we can save at night. We can't get into the castle at night. That guy just sleeps there. But basically, all the townsfolk will end up in different places slightly, and sometimes areas that you couldn't get into before will open up. Shops generally close, inns don't. If we talk to her, it'll be daytime again. Sleeping soundly. Oh, you'll be staying here as well? Yes. Strange don't say I have to share a room. No. Didn't we meet upstairs in the eatery this afternoon? The moon sure looks amazing tonight, doesn't it? It seemed the man in the front room tried to make a magic ball but failed. This looks like the same thing. Old lady snoring. He wanted to sail the far seas. I met you in the saloon today. You sure did. I had a great time there today. Now this house we couldn't get into before. Now we can. Business late at night. It's late. Isn't your mother worried about you? Found a tiny medal. What a horrible night to have a fear of the dark. We're closed. Go away. I'll just show you the castle. So you can get in, technically. And the music's different. But the guards block you. One place left to check. That's the church. None of that is helpful. And I guess we'll even check the Metal King's house. Maybe there's something a little different there. Apparently not. I know. Give me those medals. So, an interesting thing to note is that there are two new types of weapons. The whip is one of them. Those weapons were not in the NES version, but they are a new addition to this version, and, well, we'll get into them when we actually get one. For the time being, what we're going to do is we're going to head home, we're going to rest, and then we're going to head to Reeve the next morning. So, be right back. That's worth noting too, actually. Now we'll rest. We are now headed to the next town, which is Reeve. It is past this bridge and a little bit to the north. We have some new enemies, anteaters. They're not much stronger than what we've been fighting so far, but a little bit more. They have a little bit more than 10 hit points sometimes. And here is Reeve. Welcome to the village of Reeve. When you walk outside of town, you might see something suspicious in the southern forest. If you see it, go check it out. That clearing was not as... You probably saw it on the way up here, but there's a clearing in the forest to the south. It's not nearly as obvious in the NES version. Burn those bastard monsters indeed. But we got a new weapon shop, we got a new item shop, we got houses to enter, and loot. Do you have the Thieves' Key? I do not. This cave in the forest south of here connects to the Najimi Tower. An old man living in the tower has the key. Muscle Guidebook. Okay, well, let's mention this. You can change your personality. So we have a hero that's silly, a thief that's a bully, a cleric that's silly, and a mage that's selfish. We can turn one of them into a musclehead by using that book. And what that'll do is that'll change the way that his stats, their stats grow, basically. Looking for the magic ball too. Why is everyone looking for that stupid magic ball? Locked door, horse. The houses in this game are very tall. We can push boulders, which allows for a few different types of puzzles. Still can only save at castles. I think in the Game Boy version they enabled you to save at, what do you call it? At churches. But for now, we're going to take a look at the weapon shop and see what they have. The bronze knife is good. That would be a good weapon for a thief. Chain sickle is good but very expensive. Training suit is for fighters. Fighters can only use very limited types of armor. Or I guess, what are they called in this game? They're the martial artist class, basically. They usually they only use claws and light armor. We have leather armor, which is expensive but also good. Turtle shell is, I think, a shield? Or is it armor? It's probably armor. It's also very expensive. And hats that everybody can wear. So the question is where to go right now. The place to go right now is probably give a bronze knife to our thief. I think it was called the Magic Knife in the NES version here in the US. And then we're gonna get a leather hat for our mage, so that she has a little bit more defense. That's all we can afford. And she does equip it when you buy it, which is, I mean, you can choose to do that. We're going to use a strength seed on main character. We're going to use a luck seed on thief. And the muscle guidebook, we're going to put it in the bag. And then we need to sell the cypress stick, but actually we'll do that over here. Turbans are armor for dealers or merchants. Holy water lowers enemy encounter rates. We're going to want to make sure that we're decently supplied before we head into any dungeons. That will do for that, except we'll sell that cypress stick. I think that's it. So this is the town of Reeve during the day. Now what we'll do is we'll go fight outside until night and come back in and see what we've got. So, see you in a minute. Actually, another new enemy type. So what we've got here are these horny hares. Okay. And here we go. Take out these enemies and we'll be good to go. Alright. Hero leveled up. Now into Reeve at night. music is different again. Yeah, I know. Okay. That boy's parents were murdered by monsters. Just thinking about it breaks my heart. I think he was... Oh, well, I don't know. The NES version is still worth playing, surprisingly. This version improves in pretty much every possible way, but there's still a bit of a nostalgic kick in the original. Well, that's it. Nothing too special going on here. Well, actually, there is one thing to check. Hold on, come on. Ah, there's a tiny medal under the boulder. Very nice. Well, the other thing that's worth, I guess, noticing is that now inns cost money. They don't cost much, but they are not 0. 8 gold, 2 gold per person. Not too bad. You know, in classic RPG fashion, they'll get more expensive as you get further along in the game. So, I guess we'll check out this clearing. We have a locked door. This clearing was a little bit different in the NES version too. It was like a little lake. But this leads to this area, a dungeon. Interesting thing about the dungeons is that they have this weird, like, 2 square by 2 square tile set. Not sure why exactly they did that, but it makes the dungeons larger. While I guess I can guess why they did that. It's because it makes the dungeons larger, while taking up less space, which I guess is a nice idea. Sean levels up to 4. HP and MP. Strength, agility, stamina, wisdom, luck. No spells, unfortunately. Treasure chests. In the original NES version, you had to walk on top of treasure chests in order to open them. In this one, you just kind of bump into them and search them. Small groups of enemies aren't too bad, but as the dungeons get longer and longer, the groups of enemies get larger and larger, so you have to watch out for that. Somebody levels. Betty hits level 4. She gets some abilities. No new spells. That's okay. Let's see. Over here we've got a path that leads deeper underground. Now this is a cave. We'll explore this a little bit later. This leads upstairs. Ah, here we are. Inside the tower. This tower. So there's an interesting feature of this tower that is not present in almost any other dungeon in this game. I'll show you that in a second. And it makes this tower much easier to navigate. And it should be right here. No, it's not. Uh-oh. Oh, that's interesting. I could have sworn it would have been right over here. Oh, Babbles. This is our first poisonous enemy in the game. Now, poison is really bad in this game, as it is in a lot of old RPGs. It's basically lethal. Slow, but lethal. That leads upstairs. That's not quite where we want to go. Here we go. You see the table there? And the stairs down? There's actually an inn in here. It's been forever since I've had a customer. Welcome to the inn. 8 gold for the night. So, we can refresh ourselves inside this tower when we actually start exploring it. It's a pretty decent-sized dungeon for early in the game. We're a little bit underprepared for it now, but it will be our goal later on. Probably in the next episode. What we want to do is we want to explore that cave on the promontory first. Shargor dropped a chest, get a medical herb. The thief, I believe, helps get more drops from enemies. So, the merchant gets gold from enemies, and the thief gets drops. It's not super frequent, but it's common enough that it's worth having one along. The merchant's good too, but the merchant isn't nearly as good at combat as the thief is, and therefore the trade-off is a little more meh. Yeah, because they level and they gain so much agility. I believe strength gets added straight up to attack as well. Now this is interesting because check out where we are now. We're back in the castle. Technically, you can get into the castle at night this way. I think. But for now, we're gonna back out and... let's see. Man, there's a lot of them. I think Frogors might have occasional poison as well. I'm not sure about that. They have a lot of hit points compared to the rest of the enemies we're finding around here, too. I guess the enemy decided to parry for some reason. Parrying is an interesting bit of trivia. In the NES version, parrying sets a flag. And so you can click parry and then hit the B button to go back and hit fight, and you get the effects of both. It works for the first 3 people in the party. I don't know if it does it in this game. I would suspect that they fixed that glitch, or bug, or whatever. But, who knows? So we need a little bit more good equipment before we decide to go deeper into the tower. Because the enemies up there are going to get tougher as we climb it up. Climb it up? Climb up the tower. So this gets us back out here. Our goal is going to be to get a little bit of decent armor for everybody from the weapon shops in Reeve and in Eliahan. For that, I'm going to need to do a little bit of grinding. So I'm going to just kind of get to work on that. anything interesting happens, I'll of course show you guys, but there's not much interesting in this first area that we haven't already seen. So I'm going to do some grinding, get some gold, and then we'll go after that promontory cave, and then we'll take the tower, but probably we'll do that next time. We're going to try to keep these not super long, but just kind of nice little bite-sized chunks of Dragon Quest III. Since when can the cleric use a copper sword? That's bizarre. No, what we want is we want a little bit better defensive capabilities. Our person with the lowest defense right now is our cleric, so we're going to bump him up with some leather armor. In the original NES version, you couldn't sell stuff at most weapon shops. It was item shops where you did almost all of the selling. But they decided to just get rid of that weird quirk and go back to normal. Anyway, I'm going to grind a bit, so I'm going to cut here, and we'll be right back once I have enough cash to buy the things that we need. I'll show you guys kind of the basic entry-level equipment, and then we'll call it an episode. So we'll be right back. Alright, we have 267 gold. I made a list of all the things that we wanted, you know, for the, what do you call it, for the equipment, and like, even not counting some of the really expensive stuff like the turtle shell or the chain sickle, we were talking at several hundred gold, which is too much grinding. So, I only ground up to 250 because what we're going to aim for is we're going to get traveler's clothes for our wizard, and we're going to get leather shields for the hero and for the cleric. And that should be enough for us to take on the cave and probably the tower. And we'll get more gold there, of course. Here's our current status here. What I noticed is that they actually give you the recall spell early on for the hero. In the NES version, you had to get to like level 6 or 7 or maybe even 9 before you get that spell usually. Jimmy doesn't have any spells. No. Item, info, there we go. We have heal and expel. Still just blaze. Nothing else special there. But what we're going to do is we're going to buy that extra armor for people. And that'll get us enough like staying power that we can start taking on dungeons. So Traveler's Clothes for her. And the leather shields for the two people in the front who can use it. You notice that I guess he can use it, but he doesn't need it as much. He's already got more defense than everybody else because of his very high agility. Then all we need to do is sell the old clothes that Betty had. And that'll do it. Alright, we are now ready for the cave and maybe even the tower. We'll, of course, rest, and what we'll do is we'll pick that up next time. We'll explore the cave and probably the tower next time. So yeah, this is episode 1 of Dragon Quest III for the Super Famicom remake of it. We're gonna see this game from beginning to end, and I hope you enjoy this game as much as I do. This is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. It's just so fun and has so much like character to it. Even the NES version is great. So, I'll call it here. Party will rest, I'll go save, and we'll start up next time. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. These will be, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to say stuff. These will be published on Thursdays on the YouTube channel, so go check it out there.